Hello. Hi. Hi. My name is Susie Anderson, and folks around these parts just call me Doc Susie. I was born January 18th. Excuse me, January 31st. I don't even know when I was born. It's a long day. 1870. In Nevada Mills, Indiana. And along about 1892, my pa got this incredible fascination about the stories that he'd been hearing of the largest gold strike in history. So much so that my pa decided to leave his successful farming life and move to Cripple Creek. Well, our family settled about a mile from here in a town called Berry, later called Anaconda. Pa was always very proud of the fact that our family was amongst the first 100 settlers in the Cripple Creek area. But not for long. Soon Cripple Creek became this large, huge gold mining camp. And the men began to outnumber the women 10 to 1. And the men in town were just not the kind that Pa wanted around me either. Now the ladies, they were worn out miners' wives, or those hoochie mamas working down on Mines Avenue. Hey. All right, girl. Well, because of all this, my parents had decided to get me out of here. They packed me up and sent me off to Ann Arbor, Michigan, where I studied to become a medical doctor. In 1897, I returned to Cripple Creek. Well, boy, had it changed. The town had grown. And as I had suspected, I was in the earlier stages of tuberculosis. But despite all this, I set up my medical practice and I went to work. The men in town, well, they had a hard time accepting a female doctor. Especially those guys that I refused to give whiskey to as medicine, like the other doctors in town were doing. You know, a couple of years passed, and one of the saddest things in my life happened. My brother, my best friend for my whole entire life, died. And after John's death, Pa just picked up and moved to California. There was really nothing left holding me here anymore. We had buried my brother here at Mount Pisgah. And I vowed that someday I would be beside my beloved brother again. I left Cripple Creek in 1901. And I set up medical practice in Denver. Well, it was not very successful. It was very tough for a female doctor in those days. I soon ran out of money. So I took a job as a nurse in Greeley. But as the years passed, my tuberculosis worsened. So I got this bright idea to go to this mountain town of Fraser. You know, I thought that the cold, thin mountain air was either going to cure me or kill me. Well, cure me it did. I lived there until 1955. will forget my first patient up there. It was a horse. And I think his name was Jack. You know, back then, doctors were expected to cure all living creatures, not just humans. I died in Denver in 1960. I was 90 years old.
Wow.
But when they came back to bury me next to my beloved brother, they couldn't find his grave. So they buried me right here. Years later, when John's grave was rediscovered, they simply etched my name on his tombstone, but they left me here. You know, sometimes now, late at night, I walk this cemetery and I look for my brother's grave. Maybe you can find it for me. I feel that he is close by. You know, when I think back of my accomplishments in my life and all the people that I have been blessed to help, I'm quite proud of everything I've done. My life must have been kind of special because Ethel Barrymore, a major movie star in those days, wanted to play me in a movie. Well, even though I needed the money, I felt kind of funny about that. I never really gave her my permission. However, years later, some of you may recall, there was a weekly television series based on my life. It was called Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. Thank you all for coming and stay healthy.